look, I want to ask you something too, and it's just about overcoming obstacles from someone like you who's had some ups and downs. You know, you took a chance, you moved to LA.
Yeah.
You went for it. You were, doing your thing in Australia. I mean, it sounded like you were a graphic designer, so you had a job, right? Like a day job?
When I moved to the States?
Well, before then. So when you were living in Australia before you took
when I was living in Australia, I was DJing like full time. I was, touring but then I had a record deal in Australia that was a pretty shitty deal. Like I was stuck in Australia with that deal. Like I love those guys, but it just wasn't right for me, and I couldn't release music outside of Australia, and they weren't really helping me do that. And I had my sights set on, releasing my music worldwide. So as soon as I got out of that deal in 2011, it was like a move for me to be like, okay, cool, I want to see what else is out there.
Yeah, of course. Was that a personal and professional obstacle you overcame? I mean, how did you get through that?
Sure, man. Yeah, it was tough. Like I moved to the States and took a huge chance. I packed my suitcase with my girlfriend at the time and thought maybe I'd be over here for 6 months. But I DJ'd my ass off, and I became a better producer and DJ for it. Like, just getting out there and pushing I moved over here even before my manager moved over here. I was like, dude, I'm going. And he had 2 young kids at the time, my manager. And he got up and left. And not got up and left, but he picked his family up, and he now lives in LA too. So it was just something that I had the urge to do, and I don't want to say it paid off, because that's not really it's not like I gambled and, everything came up nicely. It was more that I put myself in a situation where I had to become a better DJ and producer. Otherwise, I just go back home. Yeah.
I mean, you went for it. You took that chance. I think that's kind of the thing about the modern age. This decade is, people knowing that, oh, this isn't my only chance to try and go for something, right?
Yeah. I feel like, life is there's no made it, in life. It's not like, oh shit, I have a house in LA and I made it. There's no such thing, because life is this constant journey, and tomorrow everything could change, but that's not me losing stuff. It's just me evolving into something else. I don't know. I suppose I've become a bit more wise to that in the last few years, trying to figure out what all this shit's all about, Yeah,
absolutely. I think all that outdoors you're getting is helping you a lot too.
Yeah.
There's a John Lennon quote that I really like, and it's, life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. And it kind of seems like, what you're saying to an extent. And I fully believe in that. I mean, you want to plan for the future, but like you said, you have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. So all you can do is take it moment by moment and work as hard as you can and be happy.
Yeah, not be too hard on yourself. I mean, I've learned that lesson, constantly, comparing myself to other artists, and that only gets you so far. And then you have to become your own person and your own artist and your own, what's the word? I suppose artist is the best word.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of climb that ladder, and then once you kind of poke your head through the clouds, you're like, okay, well, now it's time for me to do me.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do it to try and be better than somebody else, because then you lose track and lose sight of who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's very wise. I'm learning some shit right now, man. I'm writing all this down.